I recently traveled into Maple Ridge for the opening of Mandeep Bhuller's office. Mandeep Bhuller, of course, being the Liberal candidate for the riding of Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge, and Mission. He was born in Maple Ridge, and Mandeep Bhuller has dedicated his life to the betterment of the riding. Mandeep has served as a school board trustee in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, raised money for community organizations, and consulted on community development projects with BC First Nations. I got a chance to hear him speak and also to ask him a few really tough questions.
And we were very lucky, well, I guess about a month ago, when Mandeep said he would be our candidate. And I was very happy. He's going to be an amazing candidate, and if we can get him enough votes to send him to Ottawa, I really do believe he's going to make just one stellar member of Parliament.
Good evening. My name is Mandeep Bhuller, and I'm your Liberal candidate for Pitt Meadows Maple Ridge Mission. I was born and raised in this riding, and I've always been a passionate member of this community. I've spent my life working and volunteering for organizations that are dedicated to making this region a better place to live for all of us. I've always dreamed of serving this community in an elected capacity, which came true in 1999 when I realized this dream by becoming a school board trustee for your local school board. It was during this time as school trustee that one day I went to the bank and as I signed a transaction slip, I felt a stiffness and pain in my hands and in my arms. The teller said the signature didn't match the one on record. I had no idea how drastically my life was about to change. In the months and years that followed, I slowly lost a great deal of mobility. I began to fear that my dreams of serving this community in an elected capacity had come to an end. But what was worse, I had lost the ability to pick up my own children. And that, to me, was a problem. I wasn't able to work, but I also wasn't able to look after my children on my own. So we had a decision to make. Did my wife go out and get a job and we put our kids in daycare, or my wife stayed home and looked after the kids, and we would have to get by on my disability pension. Then we found out the price of daycare, and the decision got made for us. And let's face it, I'm one of the lucky ones. I have a disability pension. So we are able to make the right choices for us. What about the single mother who has to pay for rent? What about the working poor, where both parents have to work in order to buy food for on the table? How do they afford to make sure that their children are well looked after while they are at work? This is why I am so happy that Michael and Nadia announced $500 million to help create affordable, high-quality daycare spaces. Over the last couple of years, I have found and tested the limits of my abilities, and while I've had to change my approach, I'm able to once again help the organizations that make this community stronger. I've adapted to my new normal. And I've realized something. I don't have to give up my dream of serving this community as an elected official. Why, you ask? My brain still works. My ears still work. And while my mouth doesn't work as well as it used to, that just makes me a better listener. My name is Mandeep Bhuller, and I'm proud to be running as your Liberal candidate. I look forward to serving you and this community as your Member of Parliament. On May 2nd, vote for progressive, compassionate, and ethical government. Vote for Mandeep Bhuller, and I will try my best to do you well. Thank you. It's the social conscience that this party exudes in all of its policies. And it's a social conscience that, to put it bluntly, because the Prime Minister Stephen Harper said he cannot afford. He says that on specific social policy issues. So I'm able to, without making an unfounded statement, this party affords human beings. It affords the Canadian people that it represents. Quite honestly, what I see it is an issue of priorities. Priorities that people choose, Canadians. Arts and culture, as you just quoted, is in the fabric, the very existence of Maple Ridge Community. Yeah. It is the pulse of the community. That's where it's at.
You know what they
Moreover,
do?
it creates stronger character. And so it's a matter of looking at the entire funding envelope and prioritizing it to back to the people, back to the people's choices. So it means re-evaluating some of these non-people choices that Stephen Harper is making around airplanes that are untendered, and we haven't gotten the case yet as to whether or not they're affordable, whether or not we should use them, whether it's that aircraft, or simple things as other priorities Stephen Harper continues to make in complete contempt for Canadian people. Well, first, the reality, and that is Liberals and Conservatives have only been the founding parties of this country, have been the governing parties of this country. That is not to demean in any way the fact that we have other countries that
everybody is allowed to anonymously donate $20 at any time, at any event.
For example, a bloc
as often as they
is a
want.
separatist
So,
regional party.
if you want to throw 20 and a half,
or very narrow issues party. The NDP offers a great social policy program with no ability to pay for it. So I would have to say that people are going to the polls May 2nd, and it is responsible what Michael Ignatieff did, which is to say let them make their choices. Then we'll let Canadians help us choose what their parliament needs to look like.
Kids don't carry money, only the adults.
It is not for politicians to preempt the election result and therefore the voters' rights, because then the electoral process can be called a sham, and in democracy, and I think we should be prouder than ever that Canada is a democracy with what's going on in places like the Middle East right now.
Yes.
So therefore, we should respect all forms of the democratic process. Even though Stephen Harper, I must say, thinks that the election was irresponsible, expensive, and unnecessary, I must disagree. When democracy is inconvenient, I apologize for nothing. The democratic process is not unnecessary.
Exactly.
And to say that it's just one more way of showing Canadian people your contempt for them. Forget about the parliamentary process.
Exactly.
Just demonstrate your contempt for their choice.
I would like to thank the Vote Mandeep office and also Mandeep Bhuller himself for taking the time out to grant me this wonderful interview. I hope for all of you that this was informative and somewhat entertaining and definitely educational, and I look forward to seeing you all at the voting booth. Thank you. Good evening.